or management, but are strictly those of the hosts, guests, and callers.
Bonsoir tout le monde, bonsoir, bienvenue pour un nouveau numéro Kijan Show avec Francesca Marcelin. Comme je me répéter, je toujours dit pour chaque guest, je dis à un guest spécial. Oui, spécial. Nous allons pour ça, parce que monsieur dans filière, en filière que j'ai toujours aimé. La faire profession que j'ai toujours rêvé faire depuis tout petit aux États-Unis. Lycée premier male, lycée premier garçon. Et je suis un Américain juge dans Broward County, dans le lycée Woody Clermont. Bonsoir, Woody.
Bonsoir.
Comment est?
Oh, à boulot petit. You know, je n'ai rien à dire.
Je suis content de recevoir aujourd'hui à la radio. Thanks for coming.
Absolutely.
And I'm happy to have you.
Well, I'm happy to be here.
Mais nous parlons pile de vous, parce que c'est un honneur pour me recevoir le premier garçon qui est un Américain juge dans Broward County, c'est un honneur femme. Et pour nous commencer, vous parler un peu de vous, background nous. I know your career is not good. It's okay, je te dis nous ça, mais nous comprenons quand même.
Okay, well, you know, originally I'm from Brooklyn, New York.
Okay.
You know, my parents were from Port-au-Prince, Haiti.
Okay.
And, you know, I came here maybe 92, 93 to South Florida. Because I had, you know, family here, you know, grandfather, aunt, you know, my aunt, you know, all that. And as soon as I came here, one of the biggest things I was about is education.
Okay.
So I went to the University of Miami for the law school. And that's how I went on the path to become a lawyer. Was, you know, I went through that program. It was a tough program. It was very expensive too. But I was able to get through it and become a lawyer. But I also went on to get other degrees as well. Okay. I have, from Florida Atlantic University, I have an MBA, as well as a Master of Science in Economics. From Western Governors, I have a Bachelor's in Business IT, as well as a Master of Data Analysis.
Okay.
Yeah, so I have quite a few things, and I also have Computer Science Associates, as well as I believe it's another, Bachelor of Science in Mathematics. So now you can't say lawyers can't do math because I can do math.
I always say that because when I was in law school, I say I choose law school after that because I cannot do math. I cannot do math. But yeah, really.
Yeah. I've even taught statistics at Miami-Dade, and so I actually have a statistics textbook that I published, as well as another book I published on law and economics as well.
Okay, for now you are a judge, right? So you are in a law space. So why did you choose that one? You cannot do anything else why you choose the law field, the law path? Yes, that's the real question. So for my English, I try. Why did you choose the law path?
My father.
Oh.
Yeah, you know, my father, you know, he was a strict man, you know, rest in peace. He died in 2016. Oh. But he was very much about, you know, you can't bring home a B. You have to bring home an A. And, you know, you have to be in a dignified field. So, you know, he said, I want you for law. And I said, I would rather be a computer programmer. He said, law. And so I became a lawyer. And so I made him proud. And he loved it, you know. He tell everybody, oh, my son is a lawyer, my son the lawyer.
Oh, what about that? Yes, I can imagine. My father is like that too. So tell me, When you was a lawyer first after you become a judge, right?
Well, yeah, most places you have to be a lawyer first to become a judge. If it's a small town, they have non-lawyer judges there. But in most of the major areas, particularly Broward County, Miami, Palm Beach, you have to have been a lawyer first. So usually about 5 years, I think, is the minimum. You have to be a lawyer before you can become a judge.
Oh, really?
Yes. And I've been a lawyer now for 21 years.
Okay, 20 in for judge.
And now this is my first year I'm finishing as judge.
Oh, that's great. Tell us more about that as a judge, not as a lawyer, as a judge.
As you mean how I became a judge or what I'm doing as a judge?
You became a judge first. After we're gonna talk about what you're doing as a judge.
No problem at all. I was working for Miami Beach as an assistant city attorney, doing municipal work in both civil as well as criminal. At some point, I came to a sort of, self-realization that, I can do more. In fact, I was originally approached by, I don't know if you know Mackenzie LaPointe. He was the U.S. attorney for the U.S. Attorney's Office for Miami, Florida. He was, I think he was put in place by Biden. But then, now once Trump came, he resigned from the spot. But, he's also another one who's big in, the Haitian community. Okay. He's followed along with the Haitian Lawyer Association for many years. So, in fact, I just gave an award away with him, I think, was it maybe 2 weeks ago at the Haitian Lawyers event? Very nice guy. And so he actually had invited me to come work part-time with their office.
Okay.
But my office wouldn't approve it. They were like, no, we need you here. The citizens want you here. The taxpayer dollars are for here. So I said, that's a really wonderful opportunity I'm going to miss. I said, I get it. I love being here. It's a great job. They paid me well. But I said, you know what? I have to take control of my life. I have to become in charge of my destiny and do the things I want to do. I can't just sit back and always let, I'm working for this place, going from place to place. That doesn't work for me anymore. I want to be part of the action. I want to be at the center of it all. I want to be in the community. I want to help people. And so that's where I became that determined person that just said all of a sudden, I think it was like April, and the election was in August. And people are like, are you crazy? You don't have time to raise money. Nobody knows you. What are you doing? I said, I have God, right? God is my campaign manager. And they said, is that enough? Like I said, why would it ever not be enough? God is everything. When God is with you, who can stand you against you? And so I went to that first round in August, and I came in second place. And so you would think that I would be the end of it, but it's not, because it was 3 of us.
Okay.
And so under election law, for the first place person to win, they have to get 50% plus at least 1 vote.
Okay.
He did not. He had more than the 2 of us, but he did not have enough to get the required majority, so it had to go to a runoff.
Okay.
Because I was there, that night, I was like, said, God, what happened? God said, did you lose? I said, no. He said, then why are you complaining? Get back to work. And so I got back to work, and I remember I met with my opponent, shook his hand. I said, good luck. And he's looking at me, good luck. I'm the one in the lead. By the time the election was over, I remember after doing all the hard work, going everywhere, doors were slamming in my face. People didn't know me. People didn't care. They said, I want the other guy. Going through all that on election night, I didn't even really have a big party. I just kind of was just relaxing, watching Netflix. And people said, this is the most important moment of your life. I said, God has it. So what am I worried about? They said, oh, no, I don't know how you're doing it. My daughter calls me, She says, Dad, I've been watching this entire night, the numbers. You were never behind him the entire night. You were ahead of him by 5,000 votes, 10,000 votes, 20,000 votes, 40,000 votes, 60,000 votes, and now we're at 98%. The election's over. You won. And I said, there goes God. Did I not tell you God was going to deliver? And God said, well, remember now, don't forget who put you there. Yeah. Don't go out there and tell the people, oh, I'm this, I'm that. Yes, I do think I'm a very talented person. But I'm also respect God above, that God leads us on the path that is best for us. And that's why I'm here now as a judge, and I'm glad to be doing that. And it's, this past year has been wonderful. I do criminal and civil. In the civil portion, I do a lot of eviction, foreclosure, I also do credit card, companies suing, the banks suing and everything. I also do, any other type of case, small claims. Sometimes people are fighting back and forth with other people, like, you did work for me, oh, you didn't pay me. Now they're coming in small claims to sue for the money back.
Okay.
So I do all those cases. And then on the criminal side, I do, anything like trespass, theft, battery. Now if it's a DUI, I have to transfer it to Central because we need a jury to do a DUI trial. But most of these misdemeanor level criminal cases come before me. So I handle that as well. So it's been challenging because I have to, keep my head in both worlds.
Okay, I understand.
1 minute I'm working civil, the next minute I'm working criminal.
Okay, can you tell me, during all your time being a judge, what's the most challenging are you facing?
The biggest challenge that I'm facing.
Yeah.
I would say that, you stop being a lawyer at that point when you become a judge.
Yes.
Because as a lawyer, in your mind, you're thinking of strategies all throughout. You're thinking, oh, well, if this case is this, then why not do this, this, and this? And then what about this? And you realize, wait a minute, I'm not the lawyer here.
Yeah.
They are. So I can look at them and see that they're either doing a great job or they're doing a terrible job, but I cannot tell them how to do their job.
Yes.
So I have to just sit back and just be the neutral person. I'm not on any side. And I have to say, it's your case. Put on your case. What do you have? What kind of evidence do you have? And then you just let them do it. And even though it's be so easy for them, but you can't say a word. So I have to stay out of it, be the neutral judge, and let them put it on. And if they don't prove it, they don't prove it, and life moves on. And then afterwards, they say, oh, is there anything you could have told me better? Yeah, sure. Afterwards, we can talk maybe a little bit about what happened. But beyond that, I have to stay absolutely in the middle. And I get so many people that says, oh, particularly because I get a lot of pro se, like a lot of people who don't have attorneys. And they're always like, Judge, help me. And I can't help you. I'm sorry. You're here. I can tell you things like, oh, go ahead and give me some testimony, or you have any paperwork to show me. But other than that, you came here and you didn't hire an attorney. That is on you. The law says I cannot treat a regular person like with more easiness than I would treat an attorney. In other words, either you get an attorney or you will be held to the standard of attorney, because they will do things like, now we're in the age of ChatGPT. And so as a result, everybody's got their computer. They're just, okay, I need a thing for my lawsuit. Give me something real quick. Now you get it. But the information is wrong, because ChatGPT is hallucinating the law and coming up with cases that don't exist. So when I tell people that, they're like, well, I couldn't know that. I can't be expecting that. I said, you are still held to the responsibility of a lawyer. If a lawyer did that, I would fine them. So what is your excuse? No, Judge, this is not fair. It's like, either hire a lawyer or learn the rules. I can't help you.
Yes.
And so that's very challenging because, a lot of people, they struggle, and you kind of feel for their stories. Sometimes it might even be something like maybe a family's fighting over an elderly person's assets.
Okay.
And then the elderly person can't really testify because they have dementia.
Ooh, yeah.
And so now you've got this fight back and forth, and you're watching, and you feel sorry for the people involved. You're like, and I wish you guys could work this out. But it may not work out that justice is done the way it should be done. It will work out that whatever they did that day in court is whatever they did that day in court. You give them due process. Due process is the most important part of the equation. But from there, it is their case to win or lose. And so I just have to sit back, even when I feel like, oh man, does that mean that this person is going to get all the assets and this person's not? And is that fair? It's not for me to judge what's fair or not. It's for me to follow the rules and give them a trial.
Yes. You're right. Thank you. And I also know you write 2 books. You write 2 or more than 2?
I have 35 books.
You say 35 books?
I have 35 books, yes.
Okay. How much did you put? Or how many books did you publish?
35 books.
Oh wow.
So
I didn't know.
We have one here today that I brought you.
Oh my God.
But
I misunderstood. 35 say what?
Yeah, 35 books, They're about different things. Some of them, like I said, I have books about computers because I told you I have a computer science degree. I have books about statistics. I have books about economics. I have books about, like this one here, From Change to Citizenhood. This is a book I felt was definitely necessary to have in this day and age, because sometimes we forget what the past was. And this book talks about, well, how did black people as a whole become citizens in the United States? Because it wasn't the case that they just came and they were automatically citizens. For the most part, they kept telling them, you have no rights. You know, you have nothing. And so after they fought, and they won the Civil War, and then they passed the Civil Rights Act of 1866, and eventually the 14th Amendment, that's when this country decided, okay, to be a citizen, you have to be born here. They never had that rule before. Before, nobody really worried about it as much.
Yes.
But now that became the rule, and they did that so that all black people who had been born here could automatically become citizens. You know, so now it's like we're seeing, of course, the country's turning to a different climate, and I can't really go into the politics because as judges we have to stay away from politics. But I'm saying we're facing a time now where people are saying, are we going to keep the rule that way? Are we really going to keep having it that anyone who's born here can be a citizen? Because, you know, we have some immigration changes that are going on, and they are thinking about whether or not they're going to continue that. So I think this story is a really good reminder of where we came from and how we got here in the first place.
Oh, the news of the book is From Chains to Citizenhood, the legal struggle for black citizenship, right?
That's right.
Why did you write it exactly?
Again, you know, it has to do with God. For years, God kept sending me messages, write the book, write the book, write the book. And I was like, what? I was like, I'm not an author. What do I know about being an author? Yeah, I can write for, you know, in the law, I can write motions, I can write appeals, I can write briefs. What do I know about that? And I've even written several law review articles as well. And I've been published twice in the Florida Bar Journal. But I kept feeling the call strong from God. Like he was putting it in my head, stop running from it. You need to do it. And so before you know it, I published 1, I published 2, I published 5, I published 20. And I realized this is not hard at all. This is what I was born to do. And so I've enjoyed writing these books.
You just published it, right? If I'm wrong.
This one, yeah, that one is, I think it was published maybe August, September, I think it was.
Yes. I see November.
Oh, it says November on it?
Yeah.
Oh no, that might be just a recent print. This book has been out for months.
Okay, sorry.
It's not yesterday. No.
I was like, oh. And for your other book, I saw that's your last. What is the last book? That's the one that is.
No, that's not the last one either. The last one is it's about 2 historians of Black history. Carter G. Woodson and Mr. Dreer, Herman Dreer. That's a book about how Black History Month was started and what exactly did they do to get it to where it's at today. Because it started originally from a program within a fraternity, and then that program expanded and it became a week-long program. And then from the week, it expanded to the month to like we have it today. Because I'm also part of the African American Study, Life and Study group, which is called ASALA. And so that's one of the things we do is we integrate all Black history. And we try to make sure that people don't forget their Black history. So that's my latest book. This book is probably my 3rd or 4th book.
This one?
This one, yeah.
Oh, wow.
You know, and so this one, like I said, you can even look at page 15. And I know this is, on the air and we got to go on with the show, but you can see I pay homage to Haiti in this book as well. You know, you can see it right there.
Oh, you talk about Haiti on it.
I talk about Henry Christophe. I talk about Auger, Pétion, Dessalines, Louverture. You know, I mentioned all of that and how eventually it kind of affected us here as well, because not only because of the fact that they fought in Savannah in the American Revolutionary War, but also because when Haiti defeated Napoleon, and it was the Napoleon, not just any Napoleon, because I've had some people try to tell me, oh, no, that was the son, his grandson. No, that was Napoleon, okay? And when he lost, that's what made him give Louisiana and those territories to the United States, because he said, my dream of being on this hemisphere is crushed. Those Haitians beat us. Let me just give the money, just give the land to the United States, and I'll just take the money, and I'll cut my losses on that.
And for this book, the Antillean Confederation.
Yes, that book it's actually more like a continuation from this book. Okay. Because again, it starts off from the same premise that you have the Antillean Islands, in that area that you had the Tainos who were there, with the caciques like Guardian X and Anacaona, as well as Hatui and the other ones. And so when you get to the second book now, the Antillean Confederation, it shows you how from there, you had the thing with Christopher Columbus, where he was butchering people. But when you go from there, eventually what happens is the Haitians become leaders in that area because they know how to beat colonizers. They knew how to beat France, and they helped people in beating Spain. So they helped these countries gain their liberation. So it talks about Betances, right? He's another revolutionary leader for, I want to say, Cuba and Puerto Rico. And he studied the Haiti model extensively. And he was like, this is amazing. What they've done here is amazing. And the fact that they're going around, they're helping people, they have good hearts. We need to emulate that. We need to form alliances with them. Because Haiti went on to go to, say, Simon Bolivar and help them with South America. A lot of those countries in South America, Haiti, lent troops to help liberate them. And so, even when I was on the campaign trail and I was at a Venezuelan radio station, and they asked me my background, I said, Haitian. They said, oh, we honor you because you helped us be what we are. And I said, yeah, that's a powerful thing because, people always look at us and say, oh, it's a tiny little country, it's poor, it's this and that. No. There's a reason why all that's happening, but let's not get lost in the message. What Haiti did was nothing short of remarkable. And so that's why every Haitian who's walking out here today walks their head, has their head proudly as they walk.
Yes.
Because they realize what was done was amazing, even though the rest of the world doesn't want to hear it. Europe doesn't want to hear it. America doesn't want to hear it. They don't want to hear, hey, African Americans or Caribbean Americans being able to rule themselves, being able to take control for themselves. They don't want that. And so that's become a problem. That's why Haiti's culture and history has been suppressed for all the time that it's been liberated. They've been suppressing it at every turn because they don't want people to get the idea that people of African descent have this much power.
As a judge, I know you listen a lot of story on a day when you're working. I know what it is. How can you be, I know you're a professional, you do it, but if it's not, I wanna know if it's not difficult for you to hear more than 5 stories in a day, or how many stories do you hear in a day?
For example, last week Tuesday, you had asked me to try to come last week Tuesday. I told you I had cases on calendar. I had 78 cases on calendar that day.
Oh, wow.
So, and that was actually lighter than most of my Tuesdays. Some Tuesdays I've had 150 cases scheduled in a day. So now, does every one of them show up? No, not necessarily. Some people go missing, and they might get a warrant for their arrest, or in a civil case, they might get a dismissal if they don't show up. But you go through it. You hear the stories, but you have to keep things moving because, the current sense now is that the courts are funded, but they're not necessarily funded to where they should be. Because they're underfunded, a lot of judges, a lot of personnel have to work harder because they don't have the help coming, they don't have lighter caseloads, they have heavier caseloads. So me as a person, I've been in kind of the system in a way for most of my 20 years, that I worked as a staff attorney for judges. That means I used to sit with them in their hearings, and they'd be asking me questions. Hey, okay, he's making this argument. Should I let it in? Should I not let it in? And I would say, well, no, you know what? He satisfied the rule. You should let it in. I'm giving them advice as they're ruling. And, and people don't notice. They just think we're on the side. Maybe we're a clerk or something. But I was right there with them making these tough decisions. We had cases where people being executed. And so they're saying, hey, I need you to write up 10 orders on the different motions that they filed in this case. Can you do that for me? And then, you review that, and then I'll review it, and then hopefully we'll get them signed so that, because the governor wants his execution to be done immediately. So I used to have to sit there and help them make those really tough decisions. So when you come from inside the system with an experience like that, you start to see everything. And so now when 150 cases are coming before me in one day, I'm like, okay, on this case do this, on that case do that. Because you've seen so many different permutations, combinations of different events, different scenarios, that you have a sense of, well, what's the right thing to do here in this case?
I understand. And my last question is gonna be, looking back at your professional journey, what lessons would you pass on to young professionals who want to build long-term careers in public service?
I would say, that mentorship is the biggest thing. I never really had a mentor, I always had to figure it out. But I can tell you life would be a lot easier if you have a mentor. So I think that from a very young age, once you know what you're going to do, you need to establish those mentors right away, because instead of going about things the long way, instead of making a lot of mistakes because you didn't know about this, you didn't know about that, you find those people, you make those connections, and then they will help you get to where you need to go to. It's tough to do it without outside help, but if you get that help early on, you can have a very rewarding, very successful career. There's a lot of things that people aren't told about law. For example, a lot of people don't even understand what a patent attorney is. A patent attorney is someone who understands science. In other words, if you have a science degree, say like engineering, chemistry, biology, physics, you can work as a patent attorney. And a patent attorney is, they're in like another bracket of income because they are very wealthy. But the point being is that unless someone told you that up front, you might not even have known, oh, wait, I should have gotten a science degree in college before I went to law school. Because now that decision could affect the rest of your career. There are some law firms that are so desperate to have people with science backgrounds that they've actually approached professors and say, would you like to work for us if we agree to pay your tuition for law school? And so now the professor's like, well, I've always been doing this. It's like, yeah, but you're doing this. How much are you making? We can get you like 5-6 times that amount. How about that? And then they're like, okay, you know what? I think I'll try this law school thing, right?
Yeah.
But people don't know about that. They don't know about these opportunities because they're always told, well, just go be a criminal attorney.
Yeah.
Oh, just go, be an immigration attorney, which is fine. We need those attorneys.
Yeah.
We absolutely need them. But I also think that there are a lot of things that we could be doing we're not exposed to doing because we don't have enough mentors in place to help guide us along the way down different paths, because there's more than one way to get to the place you need to be, but you need guides, you need help, you need wisdom, people who know the ropes, who can show you and get you to where you need to be, so that way the next generation will do better than us, and then the generation after them will do better than them, and we'll just keep expanding. And before you know it, my vision for the future is in the African diaspora that we see a lot of wealth being produced, that we have almost like a collective where you could just about turn to anyone and they say, oh, you need this, you need that, I've got someone for you. And we make each other stronger that way. We increase each other. People doing business with each other can invest in one another. Why not? Why not? Right?
Yeah, it's right. Ma rappelé nous sur 1580 AM, 49.5 FM, n'a su Kijan sa chaud, nous te gagné un juge Woody Clermont, qui c'est premier Asian American male juge dans Broward County. Li écrit 35 livres, li pote une pour moi. Par contre, c'est 43. Li pote une pour moi. C'est from chance to citizenhood to legal struggle from black citizenship. And na première, thanks for coming.
You're very welcome. I'm glad to be here. I've like I said, I've never been here before, so I really enjoy coming out. You all are a great team here. I see a wonderful family environment here, so I definitely enjoyed my time here.
Thank you so much. Thank you again. Ma ba nou rendez-vous semaine prochaine pour un nouveau numéro Kijan Saï m'a rappelé nous c'était Francesca Marcelin. À la prochaine. Bye bye.